Welcome to War Bios, the podcast where we delve into the most pivotal conflicts in history, and I'm your host, General Biography. Today, we're going to explore one of the most infamous battles in ancient warfare, the Battle of Cannae. This legendary clash between the Romans and Carthaginians has been etched in the annals of military history for centuries, and its impact still resonates with strategists and historians alike. The Battle of Cannae, fought on August 216 BCE, was a masterpiece of tactical brilliance, showcasing the genius of Hannibal Barca, one of history's greatest commanders. But to truly understand the significance of this battle, we must first examine the complex web of alliances, rivalries, and strategic interests that led to this epic confrontation. In the early 3rd century BCE, the Mediterranean was a hotbed of conflict, with powerful city-states and empires vying for control. The Romans, having recently unified the Italian peninsula under their rule, were expanding their territories through a series of wars against neighboring states. Meanwhile, the Carthaginians, a Phoenician colony in modern-day Tunisia, had established themselves as a major naval power, with trade routes and colonies stretching across the Mediterranean. One of the key figures in the lead-up to the Battle of Cannae was Hamilcar Barca, a seasoned Carthaginian commander who had fought against the Romans in the First Punic War. This conflict, which lasted from 264 to 241 BCE, saw the Romans emerge victorious, having defeated the Carthaginians in a series of naval battles. The war ended with the Treaty of Lille-Bayaume, which forced the Carthaginians to surrender Sicily and Corsica to the Romans and pay a hefty indemnity. Hamilcar Barca, determined to restore Carthage's honor and power, began to forge a new strategy. He turned his attention to the Iberian Peninsula, where he established a new Carthaginian base of operations in 237 BCE. Over the next several years, Hamilcar conquered various tribes and city-states, laying the foundation for his son Hannibal's future campaigns. The Iberian Peninsula, with its rugged terrain and fierce warrior tribes, proved an ideal training ground for the young Hannibal, who would later become one of Rome's greatest enemies. As the Carthaginians expanded their territories in Spain, they came into conflict with the Romans, who were also seeking to expand their influence in the region. In 221 BCE, Hannibal succeeded his brother-in-law, Hasdrubal, as the commander of Carthage's Spanish territories. With his sights set on Rome, he began to forge a formidable army, comprised of seasoned veterans, skilled cavalrymen, and powerful war elephants. The stage was now set for an epic confrontation between two titans of the ancient world. The Romans, confident in their military prowess, were determined to stop Hannibal's expansionist ambitions. Meanwhile, Hannibal, driven by a deep-seated hatred for the Romans, was determined to inflict a crushing defeat on his enemies. As we've explored the earliest history of the Battle of Cannae, we've seen how the complex web of alliances, rivalries, and strategic interests ultimately led to one of the most pivotal battles in history. We've witnessed the emergence of key figures such as Hamilcar Barca and Hannibal, who would play a crucial role in shaping the conflict. As we now delve into the heart of the conflict, it's clear that Hannibal Barca's masterful tactics played a crucial role in shaping the battle's outcome. On August 216 BCE, the two armies faced off on the plains of Cannae near the Outfought River in southern Italy. The Roman legions, led by consuls Lucius Aemilius Paulus and Gaius Terentius Varro, were confident in their numerical superiority, with estimates suggesting they outnumbered the Carthaginians by as many as 50,000 to 40,000 soldiers. However, Hannibal's clever deployment of his troops would prove decisive. He placed his weakest units, comprising largely of Gaulish and Spanish infantry, at the center of his line, while positioning his most seasoned veterans, the African infantry, on the flanks. Meanwhile, his powerful cavalry, comprised of Numidian and Spanish horsemen, were stationed on the wings, ready to exploit any weaknesses in the Roman lines. As the battle commenced, the Roman legions charged forward with characteristic ferocity, but Hannibal's center deliberately gave ground, luring the Romans into a trap. The Carthaginian cavalry, meanwhile, swept around the Roman flanks, attacking their vulnerable rear and causing chaos and panic among the legionnaires. The African infantry, holding firm on the flanks, then closed in on the surrounded Romans, creating a deadly encirclement that would ultimately seal their fate. The resulting massacre was one of the most devastating in ancient history, with estimates suggesting that between 50,000 to 70,000 Roman soldiers were killed or captured. The Carthaginians, meanwhile, suffered relatively light casualties, with some sources indicating as few as 6,000 losses. The Battle of Cannae was a crushing defeat for the Romans, one that would have far-reaching consequences for their empire and their people. As we reflect on this pivotal moment in history, it's clear that Hannibal's genius as a commander was matched only by his cunning and adaptability. His ability to outmaneuver and outfight the Romans, despite being outnumbered, is a testament to his exceptional leadership and strategic vision. The Battle of Cannae remains one of the greatest military victories in history, a masterpiece of tactical brilliance that continues to inspire and awe historians and strategists to this day. The aftermath of this battle would see the Romans regroup and reassess their strategy, ultimately setting the stage for a long and bloody conflict that would span decades. In the aftermath of the battle, Hannibal's army remained in southern Italy, attempting to consolidate their gains and persuade other Italian cities to defect from Rome. However, despite his military victories, Hannibal struggled to achieve a decisive strategic advantage. The Romans, although severely weakened, refused to surrender and instead regrouped and reassessed their strategy. One of the most significant consequences of the Battle of Cannae was the prolonged and bloody conflict that ensued. The Second Punic War would rage on for over a decade, with both sides suffering heavy losses. The Romans, determined to avenge their defeat, launched a series of counterattacks against Hannibal's army, slowly but surely pushing them back. As the war dragged on, Hannibal's position in Italy became increasingly tenuous. Despite his continued military successes, he was unable to secure significant reinforcements from Carthage or persuade other Italian cities to join his cause. The Romans, meanwhile, were able to draw on their vast resources and manpower reserves, gradually wearing down Hannibal's army through a combination of guerrilla warfare and conventional battles. In 24 BCE, the Roman general Scipio Africanus launched a daring invasion of North Africa, striking at the heart of Carthage itself. Hannibal was recalled from Italy to defend his homeland, but he was ultimately defeated by Scipio at the Battle of Zama in 2002 BCE. The Second Punic War finally came to an end with the Treaty of Peace, which imposed harsh penalties on Carthage and cemented Roman dominance over the Mediterranean. The legacy of the Battle of Cannae can be seen in the many historians and strategists who have studied it throughout history. It remains one of the greatest military victories in history, a testament to Hannibal's exceptional leadership and strategic vision. The battle also highlights the importance of adaptability, cunning, and clever tactics on the battlefield, as well as the need for effective logistics and supply chain management. As we reflect on the Battle of Cannae and its aftermath, it's clear that this epic confrontation had a profound impact on the course of human history. It marked a turning point in the Second Punic War, ultimately leading to the defeat of Carthage and the rise of Rome as the dominant power in the Mediterranean. The battle also provides timeless lessons for military strategists and historians, reminding us of the importance of clever tactics, adaptability, and effective leadership on the battlefield. In conclusion, the Battle of Cannae was a pivotal moment in ancient history, one that continues to fascinate and inspire us today. Its legacy can be seen in the many historians and strategists who have studied it throughout history, and its impact on the course of human events remains undeniable. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Battle of Cannae, and I look forward to exploring more epic confrontations in ancient history with you in the future. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.